Hello, everybody. It is May the 9th, 2021. Happy Mother's Day. This is America's Supermom wishing all the moms a happy Mother's Day. This is the day that we can reflect and think about. Mother's Day doesn't come with a manual, it is a lifetime role. You never outgrow, you never um, pass through the role of being a mom. It is something that is a lifetime commitment. And I think I just want to talk about this briefly because so often we get stressed out, intimidated, unappreciated for the short term achievements. We kind of have this mindset of thinking that a lifetime commitment is filled with daily validation. And I think it's really important to look at the difference between a marathon runner and one who is a sprinter. A marathon runner has to have more stamina to run a longer race. And this is key when it comes to motherhood because so often we think the short term successes will carry us for the longer race. But if we're not careful, those short term successes can leave us depleted, burnt out, people pleasing. I'm only saying this because this was my story. So, what I have found is that when you're looking at something to be long term, there are a couple key elements that are important in order for you to move forward and be successful. The first thing is knowing what your limits are. This is key. If you have a vehicle that only has so much gas it can hold, you're not going to plan a 3-day trip without getting any gas if your car can only make it for a half of a day's trip. So a lot of times we plan and we do things with the anticipation that we are replenishing ourselves or refueling when actually we're not. Okay, so this was my story. Every day I was running on empty when I first began. I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was not at my optimal state every morning when I got up, which led to other things. So I think it's important to know your limits, know exactly what you need, and know exactly what you can provide. The next thing is be an advocate for you. We often can be a great mama bear to our spouses, our kids, and certain people in our community, but we need to have that attitude with ourselves. Someone once told me before when they were giving me some tips on finances, they said, well, who do you pay the most often? And my first response was bill collectors. And they said yes, because they scream the loudest. So usually what we do is we don't scream. We bury our voice and we submit to the voices that are all around that are screaming. So take care of yourself first, then you're able to come from a place of abundance in order to serve others that are in your life. And then the last thing is having a support system, setting up a different places where you can get rest, solitude, places to think, ways to improve, self develop to be better than how you are currently. And this is a regular process. So figure out who is your support team, what is that going to look like, and how you can move forward in a way that serves you and allows you to be very efficient in your role. And after all these things, we think about you can win the game of life and win the game of motherhood when you know the rules, when you know that your kids are not going to be perfect, you're going to have things that are going to happen that are outside of your control, but you can have a mindset of happiness. You can have a mindset of abundance. You can have a mindset of positivity. And all this is a foundation for you to plan moments that are going to refuel you. If that looks like taking a family outing so that you can refuel or replenish or restore your relationships, you can do damage control. If you know that you are going to be traveling for work or committed to a few things for your job, well, then maybe you can carve out some time with your kids in order to spend time with them because you know that you're going to have to travel and not be with them for X amount of days. Uh, Coming up with different creative ways to engage. Maybe it's just staying home but having a fun meal. Maybe it's making homemade pizzas or ice cream or different things that you could do as activities that create memories. I just challenge everybody to think about as you ponder over this Mother's Day, whether you have a mother that's still living or one that has passed on, what do you remember from your mom? Is it the hour by hour playbook, the menu of all the meals that were served, or is it those moments in time that are surrounded with a memory or an event or a life transition? Maybe it's a wedding, maybe it's the prom, maybe it's the first date you went on, maybe it's the first time you tied your shoes or uh, learned how to read, or the first great report card. All these things are the memories that we have to lean on. So create those memories today so that your children can have them of you when you pass on. So I want to thank all the moms out there. You're doing a phenomenal job. And remember, the only person we need to be comparing ourselves with is the person we were yesterday. Make every day a great day. Go out and be brilliant in the world and continue to do the things that help to stretch and challenge you to be a better version of yourself. This is America's Supermom signing off.